Hey everyone, and welcome back to Farm Girl in Progress. My name is Nadine. In the last video that I put out, you guys watched me build my raised garden beds, which I am so excited about. I cannot wait to fill them and get them planted this season. However, there's some really important things that I need to do first in order to make sure that I have my best growing season possible. One of the tips that I'm going to be sharing with you today, I actually learned from Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. If you haven't checked out their channel yet, please be sure to do so. Show them some love because they're an amazing couple who teach so many great life skills that you just have to know. So let's go ahead outside and I'll show you what I'm doing with my garden beds. Welcome to my garden, guys. It's so pretty. So, two things that I'm going to be doing to prep my garden this year is one, put a layer of cardboard down over top of the grass inside. That way it kills the grass. Eventually the cardboard will decompose and it'll just add to the soil. The second thing that I'm going to be doing is in this box right here. So let's go see what's in there. Alrighty guys, so this is the second thing that I'm going to be doing to prep my garden beds for planting this year. I'm going to be putting a layer of hardware cloth underneath the soil. So the first thing that's going down is a layer of cardboard to kill the grass and eventually just decompose and add to my soil. The second thing is a layer of this hardware cloth. It's 1/2 inch, so that means the holes are only 1/2 inch big. And the reason I'm putting hardware cloth down is to prevent anything from digging up underneath my vegetables and eating the roots or the tubers. I don't want that. So this is going to prevent any pests from digging up into my garden beds that I don't want to. Now this is 4 foot, I guess you could say wide, 4 foot wide, and this is 100 feet long, so I'll have more than enough for all of my beds. Now you can get this in smaller sizes. I went with the 4 foot by 100 foot because my beds are 4 foot by 8, so it was less cutting for me, but you can do whatever you want. I will leave a link in the comments below for you guys if this is something that you're interested in. You can see exactly what I purchased. So yeah, the first thing, like I said, I'm going to do is the cardboard and then this, and we're one step closer to soil. Alright guys, so the first thing that I'm going to do before I start prepping my boxes for the cardboard and the hardware cloth is I'm going to measure out and make sure that my garden box is exactly where I want to put it before I start prepping things. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so this box is exactly where I want it. I have 4 foot of space between each box and each row. That way I have enough space to get a wheelbarrow through or a garden wagon. And then I have it 8 foot off of the fence line. That way there's plenty of room at the back. So now we can go ahead and start putting the cardboard in. So before I use the cardboard in my garden bed, I'm first going to remove all of the tape and the stickers off of the boxes. That way it's just the cardboard going in. If you're looking for cardboard for your garden boxes, for your pathways, whatever it is that you're looking for boxes for, a surprisingly good place to look for them is clothing departments. So Aeropostale, Gap, Old Navy, Under Armour, any of those places, they get shipments weekly and they just throw their boxes away. So if you're looking for cardboard, check your local clothing department stores, because I bet you anything they'll have a bunch of them for you. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove all of the tape, and then I'll show you how I'm laying these down in my boxes. Alrighty guys, so I think it was 2 3/4 of a box. I did open them up and just laid them single layer in the bottom. It doesn't need to be a lot, just enough to kill the grass. That way I don't have it popping up through later on. And then I'll just measure out a piece of hardware cloth and put it over top of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of the garden boxes set up with cardboard, and then I'll show you guys the hardware cloth. So I just finished getting cardboard in all of these garden beds. Nothing fancy, like I said, it's just one layer of cardboard, just enough to kill the grass so that we don't have to keep coming back and mowing it or weed whacking it before we get dirt in there. And the next thing that we need to do is get the hardware cloth in. So I'm going to get that measured and cut it, and then my husband's going to help me put it in all of the beds. So let's go ahead and get it measured and cut so that he can help me get that in there. Alrighty guys, so tools that I'm going to use to cut this: measuring tape to measure, some wire snips, and a good old-fashioned Sharpie. Desi's going to be my helper here. He's going to hold it for me while I mark it, and then we'll get it cut. Alrighty, so we got the hardware cloth all cut. Each bed has its piece of hardware cloth in it and ready to go. So I'm gonna go recruit my husband, and then we're gonna get these laid down in the garden beds. Alrighty guys, so the garden beds are pretty much ready for soil. There's one more thing that I need to do, and I'll tell you about that in another video. But for today, we got the cardboard done, we got the hardware cloth down, and they're ready for the next steps. So that pretty much wraps up today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching and following along on my raised garden bed journey. I so appreciate you guys. Keep an eye out for videos in the future of what's happening next with the garden beds. And remember to grow where you're planted.